this is awesome. Look at this. Wow, we're here together. Here.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Sorry. Still making sure this microphone doesn't... Okay, stay where you are, microphone.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
My name is Mike. Everyone's got a microphone now. They're being sold everywhere. People buy the microphones and then they talk to them and they're on the air doing their little shows, doing their podcasts or their Zoom calls or their chats with their friend. Something fell off this. I have to end my trying to fiddle with this microphone. Okay.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Because it is episode 3349.
Mike's.
My name is Mike
Daily
Matthews
Podcast.
and this is Mike's Daily Podcast, broadcasting from Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Ameritopica. Mike, stop touching the mic. Now I'm done. And we are broadcasting from Café Anyway. All right, so SpaceX launched its huge rocket. Hopefully they didn't need to use as much tape as I did to keep this microphone from not pointing towards my face. They launched its huge rocket on its test flight. This happened on Friday, July the 24th, the first since the Elon Musk-led company's history-making initial public offering, which the week previous did not do so well, fell below the initial price of the initial public offering. So people were like, yeah, I spent all this money on this stock and now it's gone below what it originally came out for, which a lot of financial experts were predicting, by the way, because the ones that could see through the hype, because the ones that are the talking heads that are being paid, that are getting the paycheck from the big media companies, because they're just supposed to be on there and look good and then sound like they know what they're talking about, and they just say hype. Elon, biggest thing ever, this biggest IPO ever, and then it drops below what it came out originally. But this was the big
podcast picture.
The big thing everyone was looking at. You know, the podcast picture is not of any starships, spaceships, rocket ships, or anything. It is of me. Sometimes I look like I'm from another world, and I act like it sometimes. But there I am in front of the amazing Bay Bridge in San Francisco, where Twitter it got going there in San Francisco, and then Elon Musk bought it, called it X. I think it's elsewhere now. But yes, a lot of history-making stuff happened in San Francisco. And see that picture at mikesdailypodcast.com? The late great Basil the Boxer and I went to the fine area known as Crissy Fields, which is a little bit further towards the other bridge, the more famous one, I would say, the Golden Gate Bridge. We walked around there once, eons ago. But see the picture, the podcast picture, and all the past podcast pictures, and pictures of Basil the Boxer, all at mikesdailypodcast.com. The rocket took off from the company's Starbase site, that is near Brownsville, Texas, and it launched around 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time on its 13th demo mission. This according to the folks at the Wall Street Journal. Then it soared in an easterly trajectory, heading towards the rising sun, I guess. Similar to past flights, the operation was expected to last about an hour, with the vehicle spacecraft navigating space before a planned re-entry and landing in the Indian Ocean. And let's see, what is
life grand?
Ain't life grand? Shares have simply been weak and not so grand in the past days following actually the record-setting IPO, and before this launch, the 13th test flight of the largest rocket humans have ever built is what this was. And of course, Elon was broadcasting it on X, as well as the website for SpaceX, SpaceX.com. SpaceX not only includes these starships, but also XAI, I guess kind of what Grok is on X. If you ever check out Grok, it's the AI that's involved, and I haven't really used it, but I know you have to somehow do a tweet and it somehow will answer you or do whatever your bidding is in the artificial intelligence world. And I know there's more to XAI than that, but all these letters. Have you just sat back and looked at all these letters? We use so many just random letters all thrown together these days. But it also has Starlink.
Who are you? You're crazy. This is madness.
That's what I'm saying, is who am I? This is madness. And it is Starlink that is probably one of the biggest things involved in that whole stock, because people use that and they find it fantastic. And YouTubers will use it, and especially folks that are videoing a lot of stuff out in the field and they don't maybe have the best storage with them, they'll upload it to the internet using Starlink wherever they are, even if they don't have a good internet connection or any internet connection, etc. Let's see, the goal for Elon is to deploy 20 Starlink V3 satellites, V3 standing for version 3 satellites. The importance of Starship development can't be overstated. It is designed to be fully reusable, dropping the cost to reach orbit by some 90% relative to a SpaceX Falcon. So yes, it just before
Like scavenger hunt.
I am seeing in my scavenger hunt that space travel involved a lot of stuff that once the spaceship was up in the air, the stuff that got it up in the air really high up into orbit falls to Earth, and then we don't use it again. This is reusable stuff, from what I am told. And in the other stuff that Elon's doing, Tesla, his whole division with Tesla and the robo-taxi service, it's now operating in 7 U.S. metropolitan areas. And of course, it's in Austin. And of course, it's in Dallas, because he's based in Texas. And it's also in Houston. So there you go, 3 cities from Texas. It's also in Miami, Tampa, and the place I took my picture in, San Francisco, that you can see at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com.
For your entertainment.
Oh.
The one.
Who?
The only. Mike Matthews.
Thank you. We're outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on Earth, in the land of Maritopica. And you know, you can see video of this podcast, although it's up for only one day, if you go to Mike'sDailyPodcast.com, and you can just click on that little link that says see video of the show here. And oh, by the way, it's also the robo-taxi that Tesla has is also in Orlando, probably because of all the tourists and all the traveling to and from all the different amusement parks. Yeah, I know there's the big one, Disney, but Universal's got now an extra one that they built called Epic, and then there's Epic Universe, and then there's the other ones that I can't remember. These aren't citywide, though, these robo-taxis. They don't go citywide. They're carefully geofenced to certain parts of town.
Yo, the Mike tip.
My tip to you. Oh, and by the way, this is from Rob Black. I produce his podcast. He's heard on AM 1220 KDOW weekdays in the 5 p.m. hour, and he's on Cron TV Monday through Thursday in the 9 a.m. hour. He says that 2.5 million paid robo-taxi miles have happened since the launching of the service, and there have been 380,000 miles driven. Waymo, however, is still far ahead because it has logged 220 million autonomous miles, while robotaxi only has driven 380,000. Now, people, they're not walking because they're taking the GLP-1 drugs, and I guess they're losing weight that way. But now Americans are taking those drugs in record numbers. 11% of U.S. adults say they are using the medications to lose weight. That is up from just 3%.
Wow, that's wow.
Wow. Just 2 years ago, my mom, when I would tell her something surprising, would say, because she was German, she'd say, wow, Schutz, wow, because she called me Schutz. And that's also, now we've gone from 3% 2 years ago to 11% of us taking the GLP-1 drugs. That means saving money for us by buying fewer snacks and eating smaller restaurant portions. So does that mean we're wasting more food while spending more money on new clothes and spending money on protein-rich foods, which can be expensive if you're talking beef? So where's the beef? It's gone because all the GLP-1 people are eating them. He also says here the House has voted to ban members of Congress and their families from buying individual stocks, though the bill still faces the Senate. The debate has centered on Nancy Pelosi, our very own representative from the San Francisco area, whose family estimated, her family's estimated...
The Newsbleed section.
I find this in the Newsbleed section. Her family's estimated net worth has grown from roughly $2.5 million up to $3 million when she entered Congress in 1987. That's how much she was worth, $3 million. Now she's worth more than $278 million today. Jumping up. What is that, like 100 times or something? Much of that wealth came from her husband Paul Pelosi's business career, as well as some conveniently timed stock investments. But none of that came from her. Well, some of it came from her, but she doesn't have a bunch of wealth from her congressional salary. But yeah, I think there's even an ETF that follows Nancy's, what she invests in. And that ETF, that exchange traded fund, if you put money in it, then we'll put money in stocks. And supposedly you'll make money from it.
Myclopedia Insanika.
Supposedly, but as I look at my Myclopedia Insanika, stocks can go down. Stocks can crater. You can lose a bunch of money trying to invest in Truth Social. Who would do that? Oh, I still have a bone to pick with my financial advisor. What was he thinking? Miami is now more expensive. Speaking of those robo-taxis in Orlando, well, this is a little bit... I guess they do have robo-taxis in Miami. It's more expensive than San Francisco now and New York City. Trading the Big Apple or San Francisco for Miami. It's the hot spot. The young people like to go there because it's so diverse and there's so much money. There's so much money, and you can be rich, and you can dance, and be on the beach, and be scantily clad. Do people just all want to be scantily clad? Well, migration can change local...
Matthews News.
The Matthews News here says that migration can change local economies fast. The Miami metropolitan area has become pricier to live in than Greater New York for the first time ever. Longtime locals and recent retirees were lured there by the warmer weather, the promise of cheaper living, and no state income tax. What? Is that even possible? I live in California, where there is state income tax. Consumer prices have risen, though, since 2019, 36%. And that is the second highest that consumer prices have risen in a city in most. It's the second highest in most of the country. Miami's home prices have risen since 2020, 79%. San Francisco's only risen 30%. But Miami's, practically at 80% risen higher. At which, that blows my mind because if you go back to 2009...
Oh, not that kind of beast.
Oh, look at this. Somebody's playing a song.
The Wombats.
The Wombats.
And as always, you are listening to KCRH 89.9 FM, the East Bay's best variety.
What a beautiful, rich voice that young man has.
And hey, we have a request.
Yes.
The request is from Mike from Castro Valley.
Hey, that's me.
He's requesting Talk to You Later by The Tubes. So let's go ahead and play that. Here is Talk to You Later by The Tubes.
Thanks, Chris. Bum, 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 bum. You know, I work with Chris, and we were talking to someone over a connection, and they were listening to both he and I. And this person said, wow, Chris's voice sounds nice. Mike, your voice sounds tinny. So the name of today's show will be Tinny, in honor of that nice remark. And then I said, this is the last time you will ever be on the radio. And I cut them off. No. I guess my voice still sounds super young, like I'm a wee little boy. But oh well. That's it. I can have a young voice. The rest of me gets old. It's like the thing. The Dorian Gray, that guy. Where he's walking around all young, but meanwhile his painting is aging. Whereas with this, my voice stays young, but me gets old.
Random.
My news random. I get old. That's news to me. Oh no. But an average restaurant check in Miami. This is fascinating. This is the average restaurant check that when you're paying at a restaurant. What you're paying for? It was $94 last year. That in New York, $79. $79. So you're paying about $25,000 more. Wait, I can't do math very well. About $15 more in Miami than in New York. Billionaires continue to relocate, though, to Miami. The founder of Citadel, Ken Griffin, he bought an estate for $107 million there this year. And then you got Larry Page, who did the Google thing, got his Google. And Sergey, or was Larry Page Twitter? Sergey Brin, I think, was Google. Yeah, oh no, they both co-founded Google. Sergey Brin and Larry Page. So they live in Miami. And Mark Zuckerberg, too. Of course, he followed them to become big tech stars because he founded Facebook and Instagram. Well, he didn't found Instagram. He bought Instagram and WhatsApp. He bought WhatsApp. And he's got the company called Meta. They're all Miami residents.
It's a nightmare of a show.
I just think it's a nightmare of a show today. I know. With all these billionaires. Like, I want to hear about billionaires. I think it's interesting that all these billionaires are such big fans of Will Smith and they love his song Miami. Dude. I think that's my theory anyway, how that all happened. Anyway, Café Anyway, outside of that place in PodCastro Valley. Look who is here right now.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. Wow, I should move to Miami and sell a bunch of my snow globes.
Chely Shoehart and her exploding snow globes. Yes, your snow globes are so incredibly famous, and they will sell like hotcakes. Actually, more like snow globes than hotcakes do, I guess, in the Miami area.
Mike Matthews, what do you mean?
I mean, like, there's an expression that they sell like hotcakes, which I think has actually got a bizarre backstory. Hotcakes etymology.
First of all, I just want to thank everyone for joining us here on this show. This is great.
Thank you. Yeah, Mike looking up stuff. Oh, wait, but it's easier for him to do that now thanks to Copilot, which I don't know if when I use that through Bing, if I still get points. Whenever I did searches, I would use Bing. They give you like a couple points, and then eventually you can, after like 20 years, you can get $5. But the term hotcakes comes from, according to Copilot, from early American English and is a compound noun formed from hot and cake. Really? That's fascinating. And it literally refers to pancakes or griddle cakes that are cooked and served hot and eaten immediately off the griddle, according to pancaketuesday.co.uk. I don't know if that's the best source to go to, Copilot. The hot in the name is not metaphorical in the sense of popular. It's a direct description of the food's temperature and immediacy. The first time it was used was by William Penn. Apparently, that's the first time we've seen it appear in print. This, according to the Oxford English Dictionary. It's first appeared in 18th 1683, William Penn, the Quaker leader and founder of Pennsylvania.
Wine.
That's fascinating.
The whiny white man wine list.
So yes, I'm looking for my wine list here. Oh, real quick. In the 19th century, American frontier and working class culture used hotcakes. It became a staple. The staple for them was hotcakes, the staple food, because it was quick to make, it was portable, and suitable for cooking over an open fire. It was eaten by miners, lumberjacks, cowboys, and urban workers, and then selling like hotcakes emerged, using hotcakes as a simile for something extremely quickly, selling extremely quickly. And this is because hotcakes were often sold fresh from the griddle, and if they cooled, they would lose their appeal. Look who else is here outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Maritopica.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino the Bird.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we heard that you had some kind of whiny white man wine list you were going to read from D.
Yeah, why don't you read from it, D? Do you know that?
I will. First, this guy is going to yell at me real quick.
You bum, you louse, you good for nothing. Answer the phone. What do you do all day?
Oh, yeah. I have a phone number that you can call, which, if you would like to call and give me your wine list, 510-228-4640. But I'm going to be taking Monday off since it will be Clean Your Floors Day. I got to make sure to enjoy Clean Your Floors Day on August 3rd. But no, it's also Big Forehead Day, and I do, and I'm going to whine about that, about being bald and about having a big forehead. And I'm also going to whine about the neighbors that have a Pomeranian puppy that they're trying to crate train. And if you didn't know, crate train involves, if you're crate training them, not jumping on the crate train. I'd rather jump on the peace train now in louder line on the peace train. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. I'm on the peace crate train. Wait, no. So they're trying to crate train a puppy, Pomeranian puppy, and it's whining, and you got to let it whine in the crate until it stops whining, and then you go over and let him out. It's a reinforcement of the positive not whining thing. And they just, supposedly they get used to being in a crate because you do that. They realize they can be comfortable and calm in the crate. But yes, did you know Monday is Big Forehead Day? And I have one of those. I've had a big forehead now since I guess over 20 years now. I've shaved my head. It's been, yeah. I think we're coming up on it. We're almost there. It started in 2007. A large forehead is considered a sign of intelligence and beauty in some cultures, but downright unsightly to others. My mom, for example. Why can't you grow hair on your head? Why don't you just wear a toupee? No, Mom, no. Even though ideas of aesthetics may vary from country to country, one thing is sure: fashion police abound in every era. Take, for instance, and this according to nationaltoday.com, the women in the Renaissance. A prominent forehead was one of the most notable beauty trends during the Renaissance. Portraits of women from this period feature high foreheads, hinting at their beauty. And then there is the other thing but like most trends, the big forehead trend was fascinating and excruciating. It involved women plucking away at their hairline to get a large forehead. Some women plucked not only their hairline, yes, their hairline, but also traces of their eyebrows, which eventually caused those hairs never to grow again. Yikes. And then, a few centuries later, Queen Elizabeth I became notorious for having a large forehead, which she displayed within an inch of its life since she was queen and dictated the fashions of the time, large foreheads became the it thing. Everyone from the noblewomen to maids copied her style. Some even going as far as removing hair from their hairline permanently. Hindus have believed for thousands of years that large foreheads lead to increased success. So we'll be celebrating Big Forehead Day on Monday, and I'll be taking that day off. It will also be something called Festive Monday, too. And it's Clean Your Floors Day. But who's going to do that, seriously? Or maybe you have to, because you're like, ooh, that's pretty disgusting. What's down there? I need to clean this floor. That's usually a hint when you look down and go, ooh, that's disgusting. Festive Monday is a public holiday in the United Kingdom, by the way. The general public has the day off in schools, and most businesses are closed. So I will take the day off, too. The Notting Hill Carnival takes place during that time. It's attended by over 2 million people. Okay, so as you may have heard, a wonderful podcaster by the name of John C. Dvorak, he was a writer primarily, and he was heard on No Agenda, which is a podcast that Adam Curry did. Adam Curry, who used to be on MTV years ago, and was a big pioneer in the world of podcasting. And I thank him. He's one of the reasons why I'm able to podcast is because some of the groundwork that he laid. Adam Curry's best friend in the podcasting world, John C. Dvorak, passed away recently at the age of 80. And I don't know what is happening with Adam's podcast these days. I'm sure he's going through some deep reflection and grieving during this time. I miss John C. Dvorak. I never met him. I know he lived close by to me here in the Bay Area. But they have said in the recent months, John C. Dvorak, I think he may have had heart bypass surgery, surgery to his heart. Anyway, Café Anyway, they said some interesting things about podcasting, and this was one of them. I shall play for you now in memory of John C. Dvorak.
The Wall Street Journal had a piece about the veteran podcasters hanging up their headphones. Podcasts can run forever, but some hosts are bowing out or changing direction as celebrities and YouTube dominate the industry.
As far as I know, 20 years ago, it's the same thing.
Yeah, no,
celebrities, comedians.
That's
YouTube.
John right there.
Yeah, it's all these duos like, oh, well, we're hanging out. We're not going to do it anymore. We've been doing it for 7 years. We're going to do something else. And they blame it on YouTube. But that's not the problem. All of these podcasts that they mention are all guest-driven.
Oh, yeah.
And so what they're noticing is that when people have a choice to go on different podcasts, they can only do so many.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you base your podcast on your guest, which can make for a very successful podcast depending on your guest, and you get the Kelsey brothers or anything, but the Kelsey brothers I already did 8 podcasts this month. I'm done. It's okay. And that's why they're hanging up their headphones. So we're just going to keep on trucking, baby.
Yeah.
No one can stop this train.
We felt that guests, the whole idea of using them was a hindrance, and we both had a laundry list of reasons for that.
Yes. And
they don't show up, they're dull.
Case in point, I've been on Rogan 6 times. There's got to be a deficit of guests.
You've been on 6 times?
6 times, yeah.
There's a deficit of guests.
Well put, John. Oh, we miss you so much. And I hope Adam keeps trucking on with his show and maybe gets someone to... For a while, John's wife was helping out when John was in the hospital. So anyway, what do you think about all that? Here's the number to call.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
Will you shut ups? Liberty Nation Freedom Phone for All.
And I'm honored that I have become Trump's new favorite sidekick.
Yes, you have.
The My Pillow guy has been moved to 3rd place.
And with all things having to do with Mike's Daily Podcast, we go to the mainframe and hear from A-Frame. Thank you for listening.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now
at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.